What is up, YouTube? Today I'm kind of doing an update video, answering a couple questions you guys have had in the comments. I know I don't reply to the comments. I do read them. I know I don't reply to them. I probably should, but I do read them. So that's, you know. So this video is kind of answering a couple questions you guys have had. Also doing an update on everything I have, everything you guys want to see, and also showing you guys a couple stuff you haven't seen, like inside that small shed and behind this shed. Also showing you guys all the go-karts that I have that actually still run. So first things first, let me show you guys what I'm working on right now. This is actually part one of the Suzuki GS 500 go-kart build. Now, a couple weeks ago I bought these tires, and I know these are kind of small tires, but eventually I will be getting bigger ones for the back. The front ones are probably big enough. I do definitely want to get bigger tires for the back, just because they look kind of ridiculously small for a go-kart like this, especially with a motorcycle engine. Now, believe it or not, this is actually a week's worth of work right here. Just right here. This is a week's worth of work figuring out how in the world, oops, this fell. Just figuring out how in the world I'm going to build this without breaking the, that's fine. That's fine right there. Without breaking the very small budget that I have. So, trying to figure out how in the world I can build this thing cheaply while also working as well as it can. So, there's that. Hopefully I'll be able to get the video out on this, hopefully by next Sunday. You know, hopefully I'll be able to do that by, next Sunday. If not, I'll figure something out. Here's the green go-kart. This has just actually been sitting here. I don't really do anything with this that much. The only times I've pulled this out in the past couple months is for the go-kart tug of war, and also the go-kart slow motion rear tire spin. Those are the only two times I've ever pulled this thing out in like maybe a couple months. So this thing just sits back here and just kind of, I don't really do that much with it. Now, a lot of people have asked me what kind of welder do I have, and the answer to that is I have a MIG Flux Farmhand 125 welder, and my dad got this for me like 4 years ago for like $100 at a garage sale. And at the time, I loved this thing. This is really what brought me to wanting to learn how to weld, and also wanting me to pursue a degree in welding. Now, at the time, I loved this welder. This thing was awesome. But now that I know how to stick weld, TIG weld, and MIG Flux, I don't really like this thing. You guys have no idea how much I would love to buy an actual MIG solid welder, or at least a stick welder, or at least a TIG welder. Any kind of welder except this one, because while this one does work, it doesn't really produce the best looking welds. I mean, here's an example of what I did last night. I know I could have cleaned it up a little bit better. I don't know if you guys can see that too well, but that kind of just looks like crap. And, really, this thing does strong welds, but it doesn't do good looking welds. And that is what I am used to, trying to do, is just good looking welds. I love stick. Stick is really easy. So I would love to buy a stick welder. Hopefully, eventually, I'll be able to afford one soon and still have this one. I'm still trying to find one. They're incredibly expensive, and I don't want to go to Harbor Freight and buy some piece of crap Chinese thing that half works, half doesn't. If I'm gonna, buy a welder, I want to invest in a very good one that will last in the future. Moving on to the stuff outside, here's the shifter cart and also the one-wheel peel of wonder. That's what me and Ryan call that go-kart. First, the shifter cart. It actually still runs. Besides me leaving it outside, me beaten the crap out of the engine, or out of the gearbox, it actually still works. Nothing is broken on it yet, and you know, believe it or not, this thing actually works as well as it did when I first built this thing, which is really surprising. I was really expecting this gearbox to blow up eventually, just because all the oil in here has leaked out. There's still that really thick stuff in there from when I first opened this thing up. There's that really thick stuff in there, but the thin stuff, the kind of watery oil that I put in here, all that leaked out of right here, and kind of just been, you know, leaving a trail every time I ride this thing. So I do kind of need to replace the rear tires on this go-kart, because right now they're so off balance that this whole thing just bounces up and down when you're riding it. So I do want to replace those tires. Not really sure what to do with it. It's not nice enough for me to sell it, but not crappy enough for me to take it apart and use the parts for something else. So it's kind of just been sitting here, sitting behind my shed, just, you know, I don't really know what to do with it. You know, I don't know. It's fun. I don't want to take it apart, but yeah, I don't want to sell it just because it's not nice enough to do that. Moving on to the one wheel peel of wonder. This thing just kind of just, I never ride it that at all. The engine doesn't really want to run. It needs some fixing up, and on grass, this thing sucks. You just sit there and spin tires. On the road, it's actually pretty fun if you didn't have an incredible amount of play in the steering wheel, and also those tires keep breaking. Those are the cheapest tires you can buy anywhere. Those 10-inch, like, maybe, I think you can find these things at like Lowe's or Northern Tool for like $5. These are the cheapest tires ever, and I keep buying them for this go-kart, and they just keep on breaking. But I'm not really sure what to do with this go-kart. I do kind of want to fix it up, but I don't know. I feel like that would just kind of be polishing a turd. It's not that great of a go-kart. It looks like crap. Me and Ryan slapped it together. We actually built it for his senior project. Ryan figured out the entire frame, and I kind of just helped him weld everything together and all that stuff. So let me know if you guys actually want me to fix this thing, peel all the paint off, actually paint it maybe black and red, or who knows what kind of color. But definitely replace the steering wheel with something that looks a lot better than that, because that just looks ridiculous. So let me know what you guys actually, you know, think I should do with this thing. Should I fix it up? Moving on to inside this small shed. Now this is also my shed that I've had for quite a while. Now here's the dirt bike. All the people that have asked me what I have done with the dirt bike, here it is. This is what I've done with it. Nothing. It sits here and rots. And yes, the Kickstarter is still missing, and 5th and 6th gear still don't work. But I really don't pull it out that much, just because it's kind of, you know, I don't want to ride it in my neighborhood because this is definitely not street legal. All the stuff that I make, it's kind of a gray area with all this stuff. If a cop stops me, I can always say it's homemade. With a dirt bike, it's definitely, you're really not supposed to be riding it in any neighborhoods. I don't have anywhere to take this thing, and I don't have any friends that you know, have dirt bikes that I could just say, oh yeah, bring your dirt bike, and, you know, we'll go ride it, and I'll actually, you know, they actually teach me how to ride this thing, because I really don't know. I'm honestly kind of scared of it too, just because it's got a little bit too much power that I'm used to. So yeah, that's what I've been doing with the dirt bike. Everybody that has asked me in the comments, where's the dirt bike? Here it is. It's been in here sitting for a very long time. Moving on to the miniature motorcycle, or the miniature motorcycle. There's really nothing miniature about this project. I kind of tried to make a miniature, but definitely did not turn out that way. I kind of just put it in here temporarily until eventually I will hopefully be pulling this thing back out and fixing it up, replacing the seat, putting this seat back on the miniature green HEV. That's actually where I stole this seat from. It actually goes on there. And eventually be fixing this thing up, making it a lot better. It's actually really fun to ride if you weren't worried that that chain's gonna fall off and slice your leg open. If that chain really wasn't that, you know, scary, this thing would actually be a lot more fun to ride. It's pretty, you know, it's pretty realistic with the gearing and, you know, changing gears, the clutch. I'm honestly really surprised that it works as well as it does. So yeah, here's I actually have two of these small miniature trikes with the 5 horsepower engine on here. These are actually surprisingly really fun. The rear tires on here right now, they're not inflated, they're flat, but they're stiff enough to where you can go actually pretty fast, but yet they're you know, they're soft enough to where they actually fold over a little bit when you're going around corners, so you can kind of feel like you're drifting, but you're not really drifting. You can control it really well. These are actually extremely fun. They're really fast, really fun little trikes. I have 2 of them. One of them is outside. I actually pulled the engine off of it. The engine is actually right there. These are actually really fun. I'm not really sure what to do with them, just because I can't really sell them, because they're not really, you know, people are going to look at this and they're like, oh, flat tires. Oh, I got to fix that. They're either going to see, oh, I got to fix that, put an actual tire on it, or they're going to try and take it off and put PVC on it, or, you know, to try and turn this thing into a drift trike. So I don't really want to sell them, because they're just going to see it and like, oh, flat tires, I got to fix that. And, you know, it's not going to work that well. So I just kind of keep them, and they just sit in here forever. Here's the miniature green ATV. This thing I made quite a while ago, and I've been slowly taking parts off of this. Right now it doesn't have any brakes. The tire, the seat, this seat was originally on there. I did take it off to put it on this project, and I'm not really sure what to do with this thing. A lot of people asked when I made the video of this project if I was going to sell it, and at that time I really did not want to sell it because it was so much fun. Now, if somebody handed me $200, I'd say take it, but I don't really want to put it on Craigslist, just because it's not really, you know, it's not really, if anything broke on it, like the rear assembly, the rear tire assembly, if that broke, it would not be fixable unless you had a welder, unless you knew how to fix it. So I kind of haven't really sold this thing. I have been wanting to make another one that you could fix if something broke, so where I can sell it, because this thing is actually pretty fun. But this thing just sits here. All of my stuff that I have, it just sits, and I don't really do that much stuff with it. So, along with a lot of engines in here that don't run, that also just sit in here. Here's another old project that is, I forgot what I called it, but it was something like the mini bike, something like that. I actually did a couple of videos on there, putting a couple different engines, trying to figure out what would work, what would not work, and that also has just been sitting up here rotting, basically, along with a lot of engines that don't really run. The only engine in here that runs is the Briggs & Stratton Yard Machine 5 horsepower. That's the only thing that runs, along with maybe this 13 horsepower engine that I really don't know what to do with. So that's in here. All this stuff in here is kind of, you know, I don't know what to do with. Moving on to behind the big shed, this is what I call my graveyard, because this is where all the stuff that I really don't care about, this is where I put it. All this stuff is previous projects and just frames, just stuff I really don't want to get rid of, but I really don't know where to put it, so I just kind of put it back here. Here's actually the Suzuki GS 500 motorcycle frame. This I have no idea what to do with. I kind of was for a little bit tempted to sell it just because I did find a frame like this on eBay for like 300 bucks, just the frame alone. And I was like, wow, you know, if people actually buy frames, here's a frame that I'm not going to use, maybe I'll sell it. But I haven't done anything with it because I don't know why I haven't done anything with it. Here's also the TD or DT, whatever it was, the 175 dirt bike. Here's the frame to that, also just sitting here. Not sure what to do with that either. So a couple other projects. There's a scooter. Here's a mini bike that I actually bought at the scrapyard. When I found this at the scrapyard, I was like, "Oh crap! You know, a really cool mini bike that I could actually fix up." But I bought it and then I took it home. Took a real good look at it, and I was like, the only good thing on here is the frame. The tires are junk. They're locked up so bad. I tried taking the bolt off of the back wheel. It was so rusted that it just wouldn't come off. Really, the only thing on here that's good, that's salvageable, is the frame. So maybe eventually I will be buying brand new tires, new seat, new engine, new basically everything besides the frame, and maybe fix this thing up. Maybe eventually, but not right now, not anytime soon. Here's the scooter thing that I made, kind of just sitting here. The rear tire is still, you know, just mangled up, totally locking this whole thing. I'm not sure what to do with this. Also, it just sits here. All this stuff here is just, I have no idea what to do with. I don't want to take it apart, or I don't want to dismantle it any more than I already have. And I don't want to get rid of it. This red thing right here is, I don't know if you guys remember this project. This was quite a while ago. I'll put a picture of it right here on the screen. But here's the frame to the double motor trike. This was actually a really scary build when I made this thing. Riding it was kind of scary. It had so much power and it was just kind of ridiculous. But I took apart, used the engines for something else, and the frame is still good. I don't know what to do with the frame. I don't want to get rid of it. I don't want to chop it up, and I don't want to sell it because, you know, the only way to rebuild it is to basically do exactly what I did, and that was kind of hard. It required a lot of welding and all that kind of stuff. So it just sits here rotting. Don't know what to do with it. Here's actually the second mini trike that I have. Here, this is the one without the engine. I took the engine off to put it on something else, and then I eventually just gave up on that project. So this thing's just kind of been sitting here rotting. You know, I have no idea what to do with all this stuff. There is actually my very first mini bike frame. I had a lot of fun with that, but again, I just took the engine off, took all the stuff that I could use off, and it just sits here doing nothing. There's what's left of right there. There's what's left of one of my very first builds. That's actually what I kind of forgot what I called it. I think I called it like the mini riding mower or something like that. That was actually a pretty cool build. A very popular video. I didn't really end up doing anything with it besides build it and then ride it around a little bit, but yeah, it just sits here doing nothing. I have no idea what to do with it. Here's you guys may recognize this frame. This is what I called the scrapyard find $12 mini kids dirt bike. I tried fixing it up and putting a Predator on here. It didn't. And as soon as I did, the Predator engine kind of crapped out, didn't want to run, so therefore I kind of just gave up and took took the predator off, and it's just been sitting back here ever since. So yeah, that's all the stuff back here. Just basically just all kinds of just stuff I have no idea what to do with. Alright, so moving into my garage, we have, of course, the lathe. Now, honestly, when I first thought of building a lathe from scratch, I was thinking about just, oh, it's not going to be perfect. It's just going to be something where I can turn material so it's semi-round. And, you know, I was originally planning on it not being perfect, just being something that I hacked together and kind of make a video about. And it kind of just turned into trying to get it perfect. I know this is not going to be perfect. It's never going to be perfect. It's never going to be as good as a normal lathe that you buy online or wherever you buy them. But for something that I spent almost, you know, $500 on, this is actually pretty good, and it works really well. So I'm almost done with it. There's still a couple things I want to do to it. I do want to add some automatic feed right here, whether that be a threaded rod along there or just a modified drill that I attach to here, and that just moves extremely slowly. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I do know that I do want to add automatic feed to this thing. Something I do also want to have is, right now the way I have it set up is just a 0.5 horsepower simple electric motor running this thing on one belt, on-off switch, turns it on. It has one speed and one speed only. It works well enough right now, but I would love to have different speeds to be able to slow it down or speed it up. So whether that be replacing this electric motor with something that has variable speed, or different pulleys and different belts, and or some kind of gearbox that the electric motor runs a gearbox, and then that runs this thing. I don't know what that's going to be yet, but I know I do eventually want to make it to where I can slow the spindle down and also speed it up, because right now it's a little bit too fast to really turn something. I do have to, you know, it does heat up the part really fast, so therefore I have to let it cool down, and it also breaks my cutters really fast because it's just kind of a little too fast for steel right now. Anyway, moving on. Now, something I have been working on building on the lathe is this. I'm not really sure what to call this except a 2-speed gearbox assembly. It's not a gearbox at all, but it's a gear assembly. So basically how this works, and this is something I've been working on building on the lathe. So how it works, and it's not done at all. How it works is this sprocket and this sprocket, or in this whatever you want to call this pinion something, these are locked together to where they rotate. This is basically input. These two are output sprockets. These spin freely on the axle, and these two are locked. Now this is able to slide back and forth and engage into the holes that I drilled right there. So basically how it works, right now it's in neutral. It would spin freely. When I wanted to go into first, I just push this, and then that goes into first, locks it, and it's going to rotate it back into neutral. And then when I want to go into second, I just push this into second. And then this, how I would move this back and forth is I'd have something like, you know, that moves it right here, and then that would just move it back and forth. So I'm not really sure what to put this thing onto. I do kind of want to put it on like a go-kart or something, but or at first I was thinking about putting it on the miniature green ATV. Or when I was building this thing, that's what I was planning on doing it, but I'm not really sure about that, just because, you know, I really want to put on something more cool, and the miniature green ATV, kind of, the tires are kind of popped on there, so I would have to get you know, new tires. So this would be awesome on a go-kart. A go-kart with big tires, to where if I wanted to go off-road, I'd just put it in first gear. I'd have a lot of torque and not that much speed. Then when I want to go on the road, I just put it in second gear and have a lot of speed, and that would be really cool. So hopefully, maybe eventually, I'll be able to put this on a go-kart or something. But so yeah, that's basically all the stuff in here. Now, except for this. This is actually a birthday present from my parents. My old mountain bike was so old. I believe I had that thing for like 7 years. I kind of neglected it. I rode it in the rain a lot, never really kept it up. It was actually a Gary Fisher Cake 1 frame that I loved that bike, but it was kind of too far gone, so therefore my parents bought me this for my birthday, because one thing that I kind of do a lot is I love mountain biking. I go to this place where I live called Bent Creek. I've been there, I don't know how many times in the past, 5 years that I've gone there. I love that place. I've tried to do a couple videos of bringing the cameras there and showing me riding there, but it really doesn't work out because I don't really have the setup right now to do a cool mountain bike riding video with the GoPros that I have. So hopefully with this bike, I've only had this thing for a week. I've only taken it to Bent Creek once because it's been raining every day and also been busy with work. So maybe eventually I'll be able to get a video out with me taking that to Bent Creek. So hopefully pretty soon. So yeah, that's basically everything I can think of. I know this is kind of not the most cool video I could be doing right now. I know, hopefully it wasn't too boring for you guys. I know I ramble a lot. That's something I try not to do as much in my videos. I'm trying to not ramble on and on about everything, but I know I did that a lot in this video. So anyway, yeah, that's basically everything I have right now, everything I'm doing, all the go-karts I have. Hopefully that was kind of a cool video. Kind of showed you guys everything I have going right now, everything that I'm trying to get done, and I have a lot of ideas on stuff that I can be doing right now, but I just don't have the time to do all this stuff. I'm really trying to do more stuff, but right now it's just kind of overwhelming. I really could use somebody's help with all this stuff, but there's no way I'm trying to, look for something like that. And Ryan just is not that good at anything right now to where he can't really help me with anything. So anyway, enough rambling. Yeah, I'm gonna try and upload another video. I'm not gonna say what video that is, but it's going to be just, kind of cool video with me and Ryan, just having fun. Hopefully I'll be uploading that maybe tomorrow or the next day. Anyway, yeah, thanks for watching, subscribe, and have a nice day.